Alright, so I'm sure by now a lot of you have seen the Sam Hyde Harland Williams podcast where he went on there. And basically, for the first like half of the podcast or something like that, it seemed all pretty chill and jovial and everybody was having a good time. Little weird, but you know, that's just Sam Hyde. That's just what you'd expect from Sam Hyde kind of stuff. But then it kind of seemed to take like a darker turn, and eventually Sam Hyde basically just started going on a spurg rage, and he flipped over the desk, and it kind of, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but it looked like he was just like physically bullying this old man. Like it was a very uncomfortable watch, I'll be honest with you. It was just very weird to see him just like grab that Harlan Williams guy, which I'm not like a fan of Harlan Williams. I don't watch. I didn't even know he existed before this. I never heard of his podcast, but it looked like Sam Hyde was just like basically manhandling him and bullying him around and grabbing him and stuff, and it was just a very incredibly awkward watch. I'll put up a clip of the part where he's grabbing him or whatever on the screen, and basically the backlash from this. Well, the whole time when he's like grabbing him and stuff, Nick Rochefort, his like co-host or his buddy or whatever, is basically like visibly uncomfortable. You can see like everyone's kind of like awkwarded out, just a little bit uncomfortable, or more than a little bit, just like super uncomfortable. And as per usual, Sam Hyde's little squad of beta male yes men are just kind of like keeping their noses down, keeping their heads down, and trying to play it off like it's normal or something. But like you can kind of tell it's almost like a trauma response, like they're used to this crap from Sam Hyde. And I know that a bunch of Sam Hyde fans are gonna defend him because he's like this based crusader for the white man or whatever now. But I don't know, man. Freaking Sam Hyde, it looks like he just went on a spurg rage and just started bullying an old guy. That's like when you take out all the pretense, he just went on a spurg rage and started grabbing and bullying an old man. Like, is that what we really think is cool? I didn't think it was funny at all either, like barely any of the jokes. And I think that at one point Nick Rochefort, or however you say his name,
I am Greek.
he like apologized and said they would like fix the desk or whatever.
I'm fine.
So I don't know. It's easily one of the most. I mean, we've all seen Sam like go on a weird spurg tirade before, I think, but I feel like this is probably the worst time I've ever seen him do it. I know there was a one time when he kind of like, during the iDubbbz documentary, kind of like punched iDubbbz, and it seemed a little bit rough. Like for a sparring session, it seemed like he was punching him a little bit rough that one time. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, Harlan Williams. There's a lot of people who are trying to act. I think there's a lot of people who are trying to stick up for it and say that everybody was joking and everybody was not, like it wasn't a serious moment or whatever. But I think really everyone was just shocked and or too uncomfortable to say anything, because you could just tell by the looks on people's faces, and you could see Harlan's crew was like, they took out their phones and they were recording that stuff as well, just in case the cameras went out, in case they needed some proof that it actually happened. But people seem to be trying to like I feel like the Sam Hyde fan club is kind of coping a little bit on this one and acting like everybody was chill. But like if you look at the video towards the end when Sam Hyde is like promoting his stupid little whatever it was he was promoting, they the Harland people, they video edited out. They put like a little glitch thing over it so you can't hear any of the stuff that Sam Hyde is promoting on his own end and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I don't know, you could just kind of tell, I feel like, towards the end that, I mean, maybe I'm the one that's coping, but I feel like you could just kind of tell by the uncomfortable body language that everyone was just a little bit shocked. Everybody was uncomfortable, and even Sam Hyde seemed to know that like this was not a positive interaction or whatever. I think people are speculating on like what made Sam Hyde chimp out like that and go full Spurg rage mode, basically. And I think a lot of people, the consensus I've heard from a lot of people is that basically the part where Harland Williams is talking about the story that he made up where he got pulled up on by a van of Catholic priests, and they grabbed him, took him into the van, and did, unspeakable whatever to him, unspeakable acts. We'll just say he gets more graphic in the podcast or whatever, but I'll just refer to it as unspeakable acts, and I think you can just you know what I'm talking about. And I feel like a lot of people are saying that Sam Hyde sort of like took offense to that because he kept going off about, he's like, Catholic priests, are you sure they weren't Jewish? Are you sure they weren't elementary school teachers in the public school? Because he keeps trying to he always seems to have this angle of, he has to defend white Christianity or whatever, which nothing wrong with that. I mean, I even have some spiritual ties to Christianity or whatever. I don't have beef there, but it seemed like he was just trying to cope and kind of interject his own narrative into it, and he was a little upset that Harland chose to besmirch the Catholic priests on that one and continue the narrative of Christianity bad or whatever. So, and then he asked him to build a gorilla nest without really giving any context as to what a gorilla nest was or what he meant by a gorilla nest. And so Sam Hyde's like, oh, okay, I'll flip this desk over because surely that's what he meant, right? No, I mean, he clearly was about to follow up with something else. But Sam Hyde, knowing Sam Hyde, had to do his own thing and start destroying shit. And then he tried to grab Harlan and put him into the tipped over desk because that's his idea of a gorilla nest or whatever, I guess. But then later he takes out these mangled up twigs, Harland does, and I guess that was his gorilla nest, and what he really wanted was for Sam Hyde to do a little arts and crafts project and build a little gorilla nest out of these sticks that he had. But yeah, it was all very strange, surreal. It was just a big, uncomfortable fever dream of a podcast. It was pretty weird and kind of sad to see Sam Hyde go all Spurg mode like that. I mean, I know he does it all the time, but like, it kind of seems like it got a little dark and unfriendly in this particular case. But I don't know. You let me know what your take on the situation was. I'm always curious to hear other people's comments and criticisms, and maybe I'm reading the situation bad. I'm not a body language expert. I'm not a CIA body language guy like that one dude was talking about. So I could be misreading the situation entirely. I don't know Sam Hyde. I don't know any of those people. But that's just my take on it, is that he just pretty much went on a spurt rage, and he's lucky that he's not, like, that he didn't burn any bridges. Or maybe he did burn some bridges, because they did cut out his little promo at the end. So maybe it's bad blood there. I don't know. But you let me know in the comments. Anyway, peace.